Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two American blended whiskeys from Kentucky, one from Florida. One aged 3 years, one with no age statement, meaning it's at least 4 years. Both 80 proof. Both blended at an 80 to blend ratio, 80% grain spirits, 20% straight whiskeys. Here's the T.W. Samuels. Now, there's a label inside of a label. It's weird. I bought this at Winn-Dixie here, and it was $8.99. I have a little bit left, enough for what, 3 taste challenges, maybe 2. Kentucky whiskey is our business. Kentucky blended whiskey. It says T.W. Samuels Distillery, Bardstown. It's really Heaven Hill Distillery. Jack, and a good morning to you, Jake. Good morning to you, Jack. Okay, so this is the label. This is not really popular around here. It's not widely distributed, but if you go to I'm talking about around here in the Archdiocese of New Orleans. If you go to the Diocese of Baton Rouge area, we divide our state by diocese. You'll see it as the common inexpensive whiskey. Hammond, Louisiana, St. James Parish, all over Baton Rouge, and every type of bottle size, T.W. Samuels, okay? Any conceivable bottle size. Now, I went to Mississippi, to Pascagoula, Mississippi a while back. Well, last year. I forgot, it was a year ago. And they had the T.W. Samuels white label, which was the straight bourbon. I was tempted to buy it, but I said, no, I got so much bourbon now. I don't need more. I'll just get it another time if I see it again. So here's the old label inside of the label. That's what the old bottle used to look like. Old label, T.W. Samuels. And it says the same thing, and it's got established 1844. It's really true. It was started in 1844. I got trademark information. This trademark was first used in 1844. On the back, you see the Heaven Hill crest from the Shapira family. Burley. Okay, so that's that. I think his grandson, T.W. Samuels, started Four Roses. It wasn't the same guy. He didn't start T.W. Samuels in 1844 and then start Four Roses in 1940. 96 years later, it was a grandson. Okay, here's Bay Street Spirits. Blended American whiskey. And it's from Florida, Auburndale, Florida. Caribbean Distillers. They're showing a cave with the whiskey barrels in it. A cave in Florida. Well, they actually do have caverns in Florida. We visited Florida caverns. You wouldn't think so, but they have them. And when I went to the Bahamas, they had caverns, but we didn't go in them. But I should have taken a tour of those caverns. All right. That's it. This one I've never seen in Louisiana except at one single store. That was Total Wine and More. Maxwell, good morning, Ron. Good morning to you in Russia, Maxwell. Now, the King Square American blended whiskey I bought in Texas at Specs, $5.99, and it was interesting. It's all going now. Then I found this at Total Wine. We get a lot of Caribbean Distillers products, but it's really not the whiskey. We get mostly that stuff, that wine, spirits, wine. It's not a wine cooler. It's like it's in a wine bottle. People think it's wine. It's citrus wine flavored stuff called, it's real popular. I never tried it. It's called Burley Privet. I know Mathern's got a big display for it right now. They make a rum called Club Caribe. I've never seen it. I don't recall seeing Club Caribe, but It's one of the official rums of Puerto Rico. Let me see if I can find that real fast. It'll drive me crazy if I don't look it up. Then I'm going to do this taste challenge. I got to watch the color because one is amber and one is Caribbean Distillers. Florida Caribbean Distillers. Florida Caribbean. Okay, I didn't. Okay, they go on and on about their great history and all. I'm sure I'm not making fun of it. They're showing the facility, and they mostly do private label, like they'll contract with people. They'll say, "We'll make your liquor for you." Oh yeah, Capriccio Sangria. And then there's flavored liquor called Mad Dragon. Ron Carlos rum. Never heard of that. Club Caribe. But Capriccio, oh yeah, that's everywhere around here. Next quote. All right, everybody's having a good time. So you can see this is amber gold, and this is just straws. It's like the lightest gold. It's almost like white gold, you know. How they got that jewelry called white gold. I get the feeling this does not have caramel color added because it's so light. The straight whiskey in there was aged 4 years or longer. Then they're blending it with raw grain spirits, grain neutral spirits in their bottle in there. All right. This one, only 3 years aged. Then the 20% straight bourbon is it's Heaven Hill straight bourbon is blended with the corn spirits. Would it really be that dark? I don't know about that. Ron, were you surprised to hear about Coach Orgeron? Yeah, I was. I was surprised. Then the head coach at Washington State University and 4 assistants. I think 4 assistants were fired yesterday. For what? Did they violate the law? No, they didn't violate the law. Did they cheat? No. Did they lose a lot of games? No. They refused to. I don't know if they refused. They declined to accept a medical procedure in their arm because some kind of religious exemption he wanted, and they refused it. But like I try to tell people, if you vote for communists, you get communism, right? You know what I mean? Like somebody might say, "Wow, I feel terrible. I feel sick." I'll be like, "Why do you feel sick?" "Well, I've been taking arsenic." "What are you talking about?" "Well, I've been drinking arsenic and it's making me feel bad." That would make sense. So what I've always advised people about over the years, I told them, if you vote for people who have tyrannical outlooks on life, a tyrannical outlook, they're going to be tyrannical. That's what they're going to do. That's what they live to do, to dictate to you how to live. The land of the free, that's a shabby joke. We all know that now. No one with any kind of brain runs around talking about America is a free country. No one with any mind does that. So we got that straight. Now it's just, are the tyrannists going to stay in control or not stay in control? We'll see. We aim to put them out of control or create a situation where they're not in control. And we intend to do this by hook or crook. But anyway, going on. Burley says, "Ron, were you?" Oh yeah. Okay. So, all right. So upward freedom, which we don't have right now, but it could return. You never know. and down with tyranny, which we have right now and have had a long time. All right, but it's more intense today. But you get these people like Julius Caesar, Abraham Lincoln, and so on, and they do these bad things, and it's a mess. Okay, can't look at the whiskey. Now, some people are so focused on getting drunk, drinking alcohol, smoking various products, they don't care about freedom. I just want to relax, man, get high, drink. Well, that's what they tyrannists want you to do. Be a fool, be a sheep, and be off with your little unimportant hobbies. I have a hobby. This is a hobby of mine. The taste challenges, obviously, but we want to keep a focus on what's really important. Okay, that one tastes kind of, I didn't smell them yet. But well, okay, kind of corny, and that would make sense because the products I'm drinking today are almost all corn. You hear what I'm trying to tell you? Do you hear what I'm trying to communicate to your facilities, to your faculties, and your abilities, and your incongruities? These are almost all corn, whether they're corn syrup or corn grits. They're 80% grain spirits, which is invariably corn. Doesn't have to be corn. Could be rice. Could be wheat. But it's corn because that's the subsidized, government subsidized government, big business collusion product. And then you got the straight whiskeys, which is invariably almost all corn. So if you don't like corn spirits, well, I'm afraid you may not like these. So Bay Street Spirits, $13.99 for a handle. T.W. Samuels, yeah, you could probably find it for $15.99 here and there. So we only talking about a $2 difference, if that. Now, see, this one has more of a, let's go with the aroma real fast. Fermented and distilled corn. I mean, that's about as basic as you want to get. This, the same, but with more character. And I think it must be the Bay Street. I think the Bay Street Spirits had a little bit more character. It's like that candy corn and a little, it's some kind of like, I want to say caramel corn, caramel, I mean to say caramel candy. Almost like a butterscotch, but that doesn't make sense. But maybe a honeysuckle. Now, what about charred oak? Deep charred oak. Well, yeah, forget that. You want that, you better get a straight bourbon with a good alligator char on it, something like that. These, no, they're aging them in used bourbon barrels that all the char is washed away. It's like using old tea bags. You're not gonna get much of a tea flavor. They do that with Crown Royal. That's why you don't pick up charred oak in Crown Royal, because Crown Royal, they're aging in old barrels. Could be 100 years old. You might pick up oak, yes, but not charred oak. Okay, and that's a distinctive difference. Toffee Heath bar notes. Caleb G. Foot. Yeah, Heath bar. Okay, toffee. Hadn't thought of that about that. Body, medium, not heavy body by any means, but not super light body, just average, medium. The finish, same thing, medium long. Like they don't drop right off, but they don't necessarily hang around to make you disgusted. Ugh. Now, Are people buying these things and drinking them neat? No, 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 no. You say they're putting them in coffee. They might be. They're putting them in Kool-Aid. They might be. They're putting them in Coke or a private label, Surefine soft drink, Food Club, Thrifty Made, Best Choice. Yeah, that kind of thing. Very, very basic utilization. But if you read the Total Wine and More website, there's people on there talking about, oh yeah, I make Manhattans with Bay Street. It's good. Makes a good Manhattan. Makes a good old fashioned whatever. Hey, well, they saying it does. I don't know. I don't do mixed drinks. I don't do cocktails, highballs, or any of those things. So I don't know. Are they fabulous on their own? No, well, because why would you buy something for $13.99 and a handle bottle and think it's going to be fabulous? You know it's not going to be. The only thing you're hoping for when you buy these cheap products is they're not terrible. You're saying, I hope it's not terrible. Well, they're not terrible. And they're not what like Eric Fraunfelter, Thomas Meadow 75 was saying either. Like, they're not real whiskey. They're fake. And I said, no, you don't understand the idea of blended whiskey. Scotch, blended Scotch. Let's say Chivas Regal. Blended Canadian whiskey, say Crown Royal. Blended American whiskey, Seagram 7. Blended Irish whiskey, Jameson. Now, if you used his theory or his thinking, none of those are real whiskey. It has to be single malt, all barley malt, malted. I said, no, that's a type of whiskey. And I said, we could do a hangout. It wouldn't really be a fair hangout, though. It wouldn't be combative or hostile. I'm not even saying this is hostile anyway. He's a friend of mine. But I'm saying it's kind of like when we did the video. I should have kept that posted, but we did the video about is Jack Daniels a bourbon? You say that was a setup because you knew the answer already. Of course, I knew the answer already. So like Rajay, he joined and he was saying Jack Daniels was not a bourbon. But I very clearly showed him that it was. His argument was, well, he worked as a bartender for 8 years, and the customers did not generally consider Jack Daniels a bourbon. I said, but that's not a law. That's not a legal. That's not a legal basis for argument. Because you worked at a bar and the customers did not generally associate Jack Daniels with bourbon. And how do you know that anyway? Did you survey them? Did you take notes? So it was a very informal assessment of that. I said, but I have the proof and it's the law and it's backing me up. And so I showed very detailed how it was clearly was a bourbon, but the company just chose to sell it as a Tennessee whiskey. It is a Tennessee whiskey. It's made in Tennessee. But that does not make it not a bourbon. You understand? And so does Crown Royal use grain spirits? Yeah, but they call them grain whiskey. That's what they call it, grain whiskey. And if you read the website, they talk about, well, it's odorless and it's colorless, and it really has no flavor per se. So the flavor comes from the corn high wine, what they call that, the barley whiskey and the rye whiskey. And they're blended together, 50 different whiskeys to make the you understand the total, the final product. But to say it's not a true whiskey because you don't like the idea of using grain spirits, odorless, colorless as the base, doesn't make any sense. The law is on the books. It's not determined by your personal predilection for it. Okay, let's see. Buenos dias. Good morning to you. B Aviation Burley says Kroger soda. Yeah, that kind of thing. Tastes like a Chico stick. Okay, says Kyle Drewski. Drewski says cheers, Ronald. Cheers, Ronaldo. Cheers to you. Joe Biden Stencher says bread and circuses. Our culture has created a society utterly dedicated to the pursuit of eternal adolescence. I agree with that. Very much so. 40-year-old adolescents. You got people that are 40, 50 years old. They act like children. You say, but they're grown men. But grown men in America act like children. And you say, what do you base that on? I base it on the way they act. You see, your behavior is evaluated on the basis of your behavior. I got people coming to me, like social media attracts those types of immature mentalities. You see, it doesn't, that's not an indictment of social media. People say, well, social media is bad because it attracts bad people. No, it's not bad. It's just the type of platform that would attract that, because they can be anonymous, make up aliases, and it invites that sort of it's like talk radio. Well, talk radio has been around long before the internet. People can call in, I'm Tom from Gary, Indiana. Well, you don't know if it's really Tom from Gary, and they'll talk all kind of, oh, Lyndon Johnson did this and Lyndon Johnson did that, and go on and make all these fiery statements, but they would never say that at work, you see. But you get these people on social media and they've got all these profound viewpoints. But then if you disagree with them, next thing you know, they've unfriended you, blocked you. But 2 months ago, they were like, I love your videos. You're the best. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, actually. And I appreciate them joining Alcohol Legs, and I appreciate their interaction. But they're very immature. Because if you're that weak in your mind that everyone has to agree with you at all times, and you can only talk in talking points, like literally, you can only speak in talking points, and you have no foundation. It's like Jesus Christ said, you build your house on sand. And they're all like, I'm real political and I got all these strong beliefs. And it's like, but you don't know anything. And I know that because you make statements that tell me you're not educated in the things you're trying to make pronouncements about. And then if someone calls you out on it and says, no, that's not correct, let me show you why. They didn't curse you. They didn't put you down. They didn't talk about your mama. They just showed you that what you're saying is incorrect, and you got to block and move on. Then you're like, it's like you've made yourself an idol. I've said this before in videos. It's like self-worship. Like, I'm the idol. I worship my own self, because they well, how can you discuss a topic in depth if you don't know anything about the topic? But you say, well, I notice a lot of people make long speeches about things they know nothing about. That's true, especially on the internet. All right, let's go on. I haven't seen you say a whiskey is terrible. It seems like they're usually decent. They're usually decent at worst, and then they go, is Crown Royal better than the sum of all its parts? I don't know. I love you, bro, says Evil Genius. I don't trust people who are quick to flatter. It's a telltale sign. Yeah, I'm wary about these people. They're in your fan club and they just met you, and you got to watch them, because I've had people on the internet, fellow beer reviewers, oh, you're Mr. Information, you're the Raging Cajun, giving me 2 nicknames in one day. Hey guys, this guy's the best. His videos are awesome. His reviews are awesome. And I'm saying to myself, I don't know if they're awesome. They're good, I guess. They're good. They're not bad. I'm not one of these self-deprecating people like, oh, I'm an idiot. I hope you like my terrible videos. I know they're garbage. And I know video reviewers like that too. And I was tempted to make comments like, your videos really are terrible. And let me tell you why. But, you got to watch those type of mentalities. But, and the same person calling me Mr. Information and the Raging Cajun, and we're just 2 lovable pals. Next thing you know, he's unfriending me on Facebook and telling me, oh, I said, why'd you do that? I thought we were like blood brothers or something, He was like, oh, it was a Facebook glitch. It accidentally unfriended me. I was like, I might be a lot of things, but I ain't stupid. And why would you lie to me like that? There's no Facebook glitch where it accidentally unfriends people. It's just you're lying, clearly lying. You're not man enough to tell the truth. But you get these kind of people. I call them marginal people. I deal with them in real life. Marginal people. Like, they're always on the margins. Like, can't keep a job, it's always there's always an excuse, why they. So it's somebody else's fault. Naturally, got fired 20 times. It's those other people. You know how it goes. They tell me, you know how it goes, and I say, no, I don't really know how it goes because I got fired when I was 18 because I didn't know how to work for people, but never since. I don't know how it goes. I always had a job and I always kept it. I retired and they didn't want me to quit. No, don't retire. I told one of these guys that was saying, I know why he got fired. Saying I got fired from teaching. It was funny. I called him out on it though. I said, I tell you what, you're a big, tough guy. You got a lot of strength and courage. I said, I tell you what we'll do. This is a bargain on the internet. So we'll go live using our real names. No hiding behind a mask. I said, I'm going to publicly show all of my teacher evaluations from 1989, 90, 91, and so on. I got them all saved up until the day I retired. I said, let's go over that. I said, I'll give you the phone number of the woman who was the principal at the school where I was when I retired. And let's see if you can back up your contention that I was fired for political opinions. He says, I'm not going to get involved in all that. I said, no, you're not going to get involved in all of that because it's going to make you look silly. But you were saying all these things, what you thought I wasn't going to find out. When you're talking to people, they're talking to me. I try to be a nice person, and some people are nice to me. And so when they're in a crowd or a circle of people at maybe a campfire in England and they're all drinking, they're listening and they're going to come back to me and say, you ought to hear what these guys said. I said, I kind of had a feeling anyway. When people act funny, I figure they're being funny, they're being funny bunnies, silly billies. They got a lot of funny bunnies and silly billies on the internet. And I can kind of, you can kind of smoke them out. You can kind of get a feel of it, you know what I'm talking about. Like you get a funny feeling about somebody, you say to yourself, I don't know, man. This guy seemed like a funny bunny. This one over here seems like a silly Billy. It's just a vibe you get. I've always had that. I guess it's a gift or something. Like you pick up on bad vibes. I'm like Brian Wilson, We get on the internet, we do hangouts, and we do the whiskey and the wine and the beer. And we want to have good vibration. I'm like Brian Wilson. I want to have good vibration. But you can pick up on bad vibrations, Like he said, he wrote about that in songs. He wrote a song in 1966 where he said, they come on like they're peaceful, but inside they're so uptight. It's called Hang On to Your Ego. It was a great song. Ronald, the riot. Yep. Well, you spelled it Royite. I am the Royite also, I think. And I'm unanimous in that. I love all your videos, bro. You have a certain political opinion, unsubscribe. Right. Yeah, that's not allowed. How dare you believe in certain things? Not sure if I'm using that phrase properly. Ronald, okay, the philosophical question, are people born bad or made bad by circumstances, nature or nurture? If we use the Christian viewpoint, people are born with original sin. And so you can take it from there. But it doesn't mean they're born evil. You're the James Carville of beer review. Yes. I saw James Carville and his wife, Mary Madeline, walking in New Orleans one time. Wait, I think I saw them twice. You know how it goes. No, I don't know how it goes. Yeah, I don't know how it goes. Everyone wants to be right. Carville stinks. Yes. Agreed. Negative people are a drag. Be careful what you say, even in private, because a little bird could carry your message for others to hear. I have learned that, and I actually always believed that. So I'm careful to not say things in private that I can't back up. You know what I mean? Like people say, what if all your emails ever get revealed? I wouldn't care because I wouldn't say, people might say, do you believe that? You actually believe that about World War II? I would say, well, yeah, I believe it. What you think? I'm just lying to people? I mean, I believe what I say. Do I always say what I believe? No. I mean, I have enough sense to be guarded and watch what I say at certain times. You got to use some discretion. Discretion is the better part of valor. It's best sometimes just to say to yourself, now you could be thinking it like, oh, where did this person get this idea? But then you just smile and say, oh, okay. And that's what I usually do. People will tell me things at work about politics, Joe Biden or whatever, and I'll just look at them and say, oh, I've heard others say that. Just what I'll say. I've heard other people say that. So it's sort of like you're not rejecting what they say and you're not supporting what they say. You're just making sort of a statement that redirects the conversation to a more innocuous circumstance. And you're not lying. See, lying is bad because you're stating falsehoods and you don't want to be a liar. But you can just redirect the conversation and say, Or you could say, if it's the truth, I haven't heard that before. And in many cases, people tell me things and I'll tell them, I never heard that before. And they might think you're agreeing with them, because you said, oh, that's interesting. Well, it might be interesting. Or you might say something, well, I don't know about that. It is written, the winners write war history. Yeah, that's true. Evil Genius. This guy is one of your best friends ever. He is, of course, top. Yeah, it's very strange. You get these people that are like, bro, and they're like overly affectionate, strange. And it's like internet. I call them internet people. Internet people. Yeah, I'm on guard against that kind of thing. I just kind of hold them at arm's length. And I put that on my Facebook. I said, I'm not chatty. That's the last statement on my description. I am not chatty. And I'm not. I don't flip to the phone book and pick people at random so I can have long, open-ended conversations with them. I do not do that. And when people come to me and they want to have these long, open-ended conversations, my whole goal is to just exit the conversation. So anytime, if you contact me on Facebook to talk to me about something, you have to understand that my main goal in that conversation is to exit the conversation, okay? And that's why I'm saying things like, how about that? Can't argue with that. Huh. Well, what do you know? that's and they're having this long conversation with me, and then this happened, and then that, and then all of this, and they're going on and on. I'm like, how about that? Well, you never know. Could be so. Well, how people are. And so I'm just making these like generalized, meaningless, what do you call it? General glittering generalities. I don't engage people in conversations unless I actually know the person. And then I barely do it at that point. He is a good friend. No fronts and no stunts. Right. I'm not here to be fronting or stunting. And I think people have caught on, y'all who watched my channel for 10 years, have caught on to that about viewing the channel. Can't stand people that slurp beer either. But that's another topic. That'll be a video or YouTube beer reviewers who slurp beer. Makes me, just irritates me. Stoicism needs to make a comeback. Oh, man. So well said. Not to mention modesty and humbleness. And I'm a very humble person. Y'all know that. I have a billboard up there on the interstate talking about my level of modesty and humbleness. I think it says, I'm humble and I'm the first to tell everyone about it. I think that's what it says. Ecclesiastes 10:20. I read the Bible every day. I've been reading Chronicles, First Chronicles. I read a chapter a day since 1989. True story. A chapter a day since 1989. So people will say sometimes, you ever heard about this in the Bible? Yes, I've heard about everything in the Bible because I read it so many times. Thanks for watching this video production. Everybody take care now. Lost my focus. You lost your love capacity, man. I think this is the bass. I think this is the TW Sam. It's a little bit more harsher. It's got a little less demure nature to it. But it's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be because I've had a love-hate relationship with Heaven Hill blended whiskeys, and mostly a hate relationship. But in this case, it's not doing so bad. So let's say T.W. Samuels. It's the Bay Street. The doctors would disagree. But what do they know? What I would give for 20 more years. I'd pay $4 million just to take a sip without it hurting. Well, I am a little shocked by this one. And in my mind, before all the ranting and raving, but in my mind, I was thinking, oh, Bay Street's gonna just, it's gonna be like Baywatch, you know, it's gonna be like Kip, you know, it's gonna be like that Trans Am. It's gonna have all the computer technology 20 years before it existed and everything like that. But I was wrong. And I have to live with it. Okay, now what's coming up next? Kentucky Beau, Kentucky Boyfriend, Kentucky Lover. If I fell in love with a whiskey, it wouldn't be Kentucky Beau. No. But it exists on other levels, not just the green label. Yes, there's a Kentucky Beau black label. There's a Kentucky Beau white label. I think 100 proof, bottle and bond. You say, no, don't say it. Say it ain't so, Joe. Mama needs you, Shane. And but I got the green label. I got the bottom of the barrel. But anyway, I only paid $6.49 for it. Okay, last comments and we atcha. Smiley face, Olive Fire says, ah ha ha, yeah, Hasselhoff. Is Ron the king of facetiousness? Facetiousness? I've heard that word before. Ron, is there any way you can just love me like no one can love you like Jesus Christ, because we don't have perfect love. We have imperfect love. God has perfect love. But anyway, enough theology. Thanks for watching this video production